Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, January 25. If you're watching live on Monday, January 25, we encourage you to call in. If you have any comments or questions, our call-in number is 769-1677. Our next regular meeting is in 2 weeks, Monday, February 8 at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7. As always, you can watch us live on Cablevision or Verizon Cable TV or at pctv76.org. And within a few days, you can pick up an on-demand webcast of the meeting at pctv76.org. I have a number of announcements to make. The first one is a tragic story, and that is yesterday, a little bit before noon, we had a pedestrian on Washington Avenue who was working in front of his home, struck and killed by a car. Every indication we have at the moment is that it was truly an accident. There is, at the moment, no reason to think that the driver was at fault. A tragic report. Pedestrian fatality in Pleasantville has not happened in a long time, and hopefully will not happen for a long time again. But our condolences go out to the families of everyone involved, and also want to take the opportunity to remind everybody that everywhere in the village, we expect people to maintain appropriate speeds and follow the speed limits. I know there's been a lot of chatter since this incident about people who speed on Washington Avenue. I can tell you, for obvious reasons, given the role I have, I'm careful about going down Washington Avenue at the right speed, and I routinely find people behind me who are clearly annoyed by the fact that I'm obeying the speed limit. I encourage every single resident of Pleasantville and everybody who passes through the Village of Pleasantville to behave just like I do, and that is follow the speed limit and let them pile up behind you. If anybody wants to go faster, at least they will have been forced to recognize that there are other people who think it's not appropriate. So I bring that up not to suggest that speeding was an element of this accident, which at the moment we don't think it was. As is always the case in a situation like this, we asked for the support of the County Police Department and their accident reconstruction specialists who surveyed the scene, and we'll have a report on that in a few weeks. So a very unhappy way to have to open this meeting, and a sad event in the Village of Pleasantville. On a brighter note, we were all slammed by snow this past weekend. Patty made her way back through a tortured airline system that tried to delay her, but she persevered. We didn't get as much snow as New York City did, but got more than we expected. And I would like to, first off, have a shout out to Jeff Econom and our DPW crew, who really did an extraordinarily good job, as they often do, in clearing the village. Anybody who found themselves down in the downtown last night at midnight, which was hopefully nobody, would have seen our entire DPW crew and just about every vehicle we own picking up snow from the downtown and trucking it away in order to make it passable for the people who work and shop downtown. We're back at it tonight at midnight, picking up more snow where there are berms in the way of people. So I just want to send a shout out to our entire DPW crew. They have really done a great job and continue to do so. So thank you very much. I can report with a certain amount of pride that not every community looks as good as ours did this morning, and it should please every one of you as well. Your tax dollars at work.
I can second that. I had to drive to a couple of unnamed towns in the middle of that blizzard twice, actually, to deliver in an offspring to his job. And we were miles ahead of several neighboring towns that I shall not name.
Thank you for that. Miles ahead is where we try to be. So two points of reminder. The law says you have to get snow and ice off the top of your car before you drive. Right. And although I didn't notice it particularly in Pleasantville, I happened to take a trip today into New Jersey, and there were all kinds of people screaming along at 65 miles an hour with 8 inches of snow on top of their car, which has the potential to create an accident for somebody else. So I know it's a pain in the neck, but please clear the snow off the top of your car. And a second minor point, as is always the case, we end up with a relatively small number of people who, in the course of clearing off their cars and their driveway and their sidewalks, push the snow back out into the street that our team has already been through to clean. So I know it's difficult in some circumstances, and especially in places where there isn't a lot of space between the sidewalk and the road, but in every possible way, we ask you to shovel or snow blow your snow back onto your property and not out into the road, because you're simply creating more work and more hazard for everybody else. So those 2 points of reminder. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the annual installation dinner at the Pleasantville Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and I want to congratulate Kelly Wind, who has been anointed as the captain of the Pleasantville Volunteer Ambulance Corps this year, and indeed to the entire Wind family, who occupy leadership roles in the Ambulance Corps and have for a long, long time. The Ambulance Corps is interested in more volunteers. If anyone is interested in volunteering, you can find their website simply by searching Pleasantville Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and they have a volunteer sign-up sheet online. So if anybody's interested, I encourage you to express interest to PVAC. There are opportunities to be a driver, for example, if you don't want to become certified as an EMT. So there are doubtless also opportunities for some administrative work if you don't want to be involved in the rolling ambulance at all. So I encourage everybody to take a look. As happened a couple of times this weekend, including the tragic accident I spoke of earlier, we're reminded that our volunteer ambulance corps is only as good as the people who staff it, and we've got a bunch of extremely good people, but they are stressed to make sure that they're available 24/7, and more help would be much appreciated. Farm market's back in business at the middle school. So we encourage everybody to patronize the farm market in its winter home, and shout out of thanks to the Pleasantville School District for making available that space for the farm market. Really a nice example of cooperation among the various village enterprises. And then lastly, just wanted to remind everybody that having just been through this snowstorm, we didn't have any emergencies. Things went pretty smoothly, but we do have an emergency system set up and would very much like everybody to sign up for it. So if you haven't done it, get yourself to the Pleasantville website at pleasantville-ny.gov. In the left-hand column, there is a code red symbol. Code red is the supplier we have contracted with to provide emergency communication service. We ask you to click into that and register yourself. You can give landline phones, cell phones, and email addresses, giving us multiple ways to reach out to you in the event of an emergency. We will only use it in the event of emergency and hopefully have very, very little use for it. But as we determined during Superstorm Sandy, it was very difficult to get in touch with a lot of people, especially in an environment where a lot of people were out of power. So it is an enormous help. And while you're at pleasantville-ny.gov, click subscribe to news, and you can choose the range of things you'd like to get in your email. It's a great mechanism to stay up to date on what's going on. You can get agendas for the village board, agendas for planning and zoning, general announcements, reminders about water and tax deadlines. We would like to see everybody sign up because it's a great way to let you know what's going on. So that's my long-winded report. Patty, would you mention, we just sent out a mailing within the last couple of weeks about the sanitation schedules.
Yeah,
you want
I'd
to
be
just
happy to.
update
Thank
everybody
you.
on that?
Yeah, the schedules for sanitation pickup have remained the same. What has changed, though, is our recycling schedule. We now have to ask residents to separate from their brush and leaves the twigs and limbs and things that come down. And we have a separate schedule where we'll pick up grass clippings and yard waste, and a separate pickup for limbs and brush. So if people have questions, they can certainly call my office or the Public Works Department for more details. But we're asking people to separate that yard waste, grass clippings, fruits, vegetables, things like that, plants and all, on one day, and on the other day, the brush and the
Are we picking up
away.
fruits and vegetables?
We do. People have apple trees. We have sometimes
not-
barrels of
not at the
apples.
moment.
Not a basket of zucchini, right?
Sorry?
Not a basket of zucchini. We're
Well,
not picking that up, are we?
haven't seen much of that, but people do put out rotten tomatoes every now and then.
All right. In the event that you think you didn't get or have misplaced the schedule, if you're interested in it, you can again go to pleasantville-ny.gov. Under Departments, click on Department of Public Works, and below the main section, you can click on 2016 Sanitation and Yard Waste schedules, and have it there on your computer or print it out. So that's an opportunity to report that in our work session, we began a discussion about some new content we'd like to add to our website, and we'll be working on that over the next few months. And one of the things we're working on, which Mindy described as active in Newcastle, is a volunteer. North Castle. Sorry.
It's okay.
Good heavens.
God forbid.
Yeah. Is a page to invite people to volunteer for various boards and commissions and volunteer positions that we have in the village, providing an online opportunity for people to get themselves in the queue if you're interested in serving, and also to find out a little bit more about those boards. It is a good opportunity to mention that right now we have an opening on the Planning Commission, and we have an opening on the Zoning Board of Appeals. So both of those positions are available, and if anyone is interested in them, I encourage you to get in touch with Patty or Judy at Village Hall. What's the best way to do that, Patty? Email?
Email would be fine,
Okay.
sure. P. Dwyer at
Until we get
Pleasantville.
this site up, and then you can
Right.
email your
Yes.
application.
Right now, it says P. Dwyer at pleasantville-ny.gov.
All right. Sounds good. Anybody else have announcements or reports that don't have to do with the loss of the Patriots?
I will stay quiet on that one.
All right.
Even a stop
Very
clock is
happy
right
days.
twice, right?
All right. With
I
that,
love their football.
See, I think we have to let you guys win once in a while so that there's at least.
Yeah, let us.
I could care
I
less on
think,
that.
I think poor little Tommy is a little sore
All right.
today.
He is.
With that, I also need to announce that in accordance with real property tax law, a list of unpaid property taxes in the amount of $311,977.18 has been reviewed by the Board of Trustees and certified as accurate. We have that list of unpaid property taxes in our packet and have reviewed it. And I deeply encourage anyone on that list to get in touch with the Village Finance Office and arrange to pay the taxes in arrears as soon as you can. With that, let's go to the resolutions. Number 7, Steve.
Resolved that pre-check register dated January 25th, 2016, covering check numbers 82426 through 82512, has been reviewed, and they are hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, the water fund, the capital fund, the refuse fund, the pool fund, and the trust and agency fund, a total of $384,000, $446.28. Somewhat
Is-
oddly read, but.
Is there a second?
Second?
Are there comments or questions on the check register?
I'd just like to make a
Go
comment
ahead.
that Jerry Sorelli, our Water Department laborer, has passed the Grade D Water Operators course, and I'm very proud of
Oh,
him.
great.
I'm happy to let you know that. I was reminded by the reimbursement on the check register, but also we encourage a lot of our employees to, advance in their profession, and unfortunately, I don't have an opportunity to bring him before you now for a title change, but I'm hoping that something breaks for him and he can get on a higher title as well. He's very talented, and we're very lucky to have him.
Him and Jeff is certified, our superintendent.
All of our water
And-
department
and
personnel are D now.
D-
They're
are
all
D.
Class D.
Okay, good.
They can
Okay.
all manage the distribution system independently.
Great.
And take samples and treat it. So
So that's a civil service test that he passed?
this is a Department of Health exam.
Ah.
It's a little on the side, but once you do get your D license, you can take higher level exams, and he's done that. It's just that we are hoping to get him in a position where we can get him off a list and a
Right.
title.
Well, that's great. Congratulations.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Happy to hear that. And as you all know, we talked at length about it a couple of meetings ago. We had a big water main break, and it reminds everybody
Yeah.
of not only the complexity of water systems that have been built over a period of decades, but also the level of knowledge that our staff has, not only to figure out what's wrong when we have a problem, but also to maintain safe conditions in the course of fixing it. So it's not as simple as it looks, and the business of making sure that drinkable water comes out of your faucet when you turn the faucet on is a pretty complicated business involving a chain of events that most of us, myself included, didn't actually think much about until we ended up sitting in these chairs. So
Right.
Or reading about Flint, Michigan, right?
Flint, Michigan.
that's
right.
exactly right. Oh my gosh.
We relined our pipes, so That's a whole different.
I also noticed, and it's just a point of information for the community, included in this check register is a check that we are sending out to pay for an AccuBatch brine maker for $28,795. That is a device that DPW has in the past borrowed time on from our colleagues in Mount Pleasant to make brine, which is a saltwater solution that we spray on the roads in advance of an expected weather event. It's turned out to be a pretty effective way to get a base of salt on the roads before it snows, and having the flexibility to make and replenish our own supply of brine, I think is going to be a big advantage for us. So, any other comments or questions of the check register?
Yeah, I just had one. Normally we have the invoices from Keenan Bean, who does our certiorari and other labor law, things like that. But I had asked for a while ago, when we entered into the agreement with the Sustainable Westchester for the CCA, for us to itemize our legal and other bills associated with the CCA, just so we know how much we're spending. If we ever have to make a decision like this again in the future, we have an idea of what it would cost us to enter into a venture. But I think that it should be calculated and submitted in a way, like I had asked a while ago, that we know what the whole thing is costing us. So I don't know if any of them are included in these bills, or if we've gotten a bill yet.
It would be reasonable to do that, I think, at the conclusion of this. What do you think?
Yeah, either way, as long as we know, if another board 5 years from now has to make a decision like this, well, this is what it's going to take for you to have financially and time-wise, what it's going to take for you to put something like this into law, or the whole bill, making the law, everything like that.
So the review of the documents on our behalf for the Community Choice Aggregation Program of Sustainable Westchester is being handled by Keenan Bean, Eric Gordon, also doing the same thing for the same documents for the town of Bedford, and we're splitting the cost. So that's
a big help.
Accurate appraisal, Patty?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's billing each municipality.
We had that discussion with him, and he agreed that so because he's looking at the same document
Right.
for these two municipalities. So, all right. Any other comments on the check register?
Yeah, I had a quick question. So the security cameras that we're buying, is that just for the garage?
Is that the bill that's in right now?
Yeah, it's there's two. One is a $1,600 carbon monoxide detector, which I think is pretty high. I'm just curious what that does. And then there's one that says vandal-proof cameras.
I think those are. I don't know why it should.
A while
those
ago,
should
we
be
had
for
a
the rec
conversation
center.
about putting cameras up in different parts of the village, but I don't know where. If
No, these are building related. These are all for insurance purposes, and I think these are the rec center though.
Yeah,
I know-
several
Rec
of them are-
Marble outside services. But I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
where-
the rec building.
One is the village garage monitoring service, and then the
Yeah,
other
one's
is the
from, that
recreation.
I understand, I haven't pulled them up, but
Right.
we added new cameras to the recreation building at 48 Marble, in the rear of the building, because we had some evidence of people trying to break into the building.
Okay.
So we put other cameras in the back there, and they noted when they were doing the inspection that they needed, by law, a carbon monoxide detector.
That's an expensive carbon monoxide.
Yeah, it had to be
It-
hardwired in because
hardwired
kids in the
to-
building and everything else,
right.
and
It's got
on a
to
lot
To
of
the
central
alarm system.
alarm.
Okay.
So,
So at some point, maybe when the spring rolls around, we should revisit that discussion we've had about cameras in other parts of the
yes, the
village.
chief is going to be bringing a technology package to the board this year for the budget,
Okay.
which he and I both heavily support.
Good.
you know.
Good.
Okay.
And we're going to
Good.
make room for it, make sure we get it right.
And then,
Great.
just following up on what Mayor Scherer said about the water main break, I saw there was an initial. It begins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
What do we
know.
think that's going to end up?
In terms of cost?
Yeah. Do we have an early estimate?
Boy.
I know what Jeff said when we were standing there watching, the Colorado River go by, but I don't know if that's what,
Probably over $100,000 with water loss included.
including the water loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah, it
right.
was a big hit.
So we'll be getting bills in for that over the next couple of months.
Yeah, we were, of course, prematurely excited about the extra water rent from Pace University's dormitories, which comes out to about $100,000 a year. So, at least this
Yeah,
year.
but that's it. It's every year, and water main breaks are an event that
Things
happen.
happen.
What can we do?
No, we cover it,
You can't eliminate them. All you can do is
No.
try to maintain the system,
But
which
that
we've
was,
tried to do, but
That was a magnificent water main break.
That
was
was a
And they
magnificent water main break. Yeah.
magnificent in a
Fortunately.
manner of speaking.
took care of,
All right.
So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 8.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to enter into an agreement with the town of Mount Pleasant for the purpose of cooperative bidding for highway construction materials.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this is an annual venture or cooperative purchase agreement. Involves asphalt, stone, pipe, winter sand, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, and block. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Joe, number 9.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts a donation from the Senior Club of Pleasantville in the amount of $1 towards Clinton Street Senior Programs.
Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you again to the many people who contribute to those programs at the Senior Center. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. Number 10, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign service and maintenance agreements with DP Wolf Incorporated for the Clinton Street Center as per the terms set forth in their agreements. Said costs not to exceed as follows. From January 1, 2016 through May 31, 2016, $3,410. And June 1st, 2016 through May 31, 2017, $5,285.
Is there a second?
Second?
So, Patty, this is for the HVAC in the Senior Center on the first floor, not the balance of Ashbourne Hall.
That's correct. This is for our part of the system that we are responsible for under the lease agreement. There's a proportioned contract running from January through the end of our fiscal year. This year, it's weighed a little heavier than a full annual contract because a lot of the spring maintenance is just more expensive. But we'd asked them to give us a proposal through the subsequent fiscal year so we can put this in our budget. And it is, we did get a competitive quote from PE Controls. They are not that dissimilar. However, Wolf is working on the building on behalf of Ashbourne, and we didn't want to have two separate contractors in the building.
Right.
So
I was
we just think this is the better way forward right now.
Slightly confused by the way it was worded, and it was probably just boilerplate. It says the service for the sum of $3,410 for the contract period 1/1/16 through 5/31/16, and then payable in accordance with the following designated schedule. A, prepayment in full for 1 year of $3,410, less a 2% discount.
Yeah, it's just the prorated part of the year.
But it says for 1 year.
Right, but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I had them
so-
change the contract several times. So I'll have them clean that up.
So we might as well take the 2% discount, right?
Well, we do that anyway, yes.
And then
Yeah.
where is the $5,000 number? Is that just our calculation? I don't see that in
The
the,
5285,
Yeah.
that's the second agreement.
Yeah, scroll down a little.
Yeah, keep going. That's in the
It's like
first
3 pages,
paragraph
4
of the
pages
second.
down.
Then
I
there's two
I
separate
see.
agreements.
Okay, great. All right.
So
I
the
sit on
first
the
one is
board of
for-
the housing
yes.
group, and I know the same discussion is going on with them.
The rest of it?
And our contracted manager, AHOME, has long experience with DP Wolf and recommends them as well. So, all in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Number 11.
Re-
Andy, yes.
Whereas Richard Fernandez and Helio Camargo were previously appointed in July of 2015 as part-time court attendants, and whereas they neglected to take their oath of office within 30 days of their appointment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby reappoints Richard Fernandez and Helio Camargo to the position of part-time court attendants effective January 25th, 2016, at a salary of $20 per hour.
Is there a second?
Second.
Housekeeping.
Yep, that's all. It happens.
Going to get them back to sign.
Get in
Just
here,
saying.
chop chop, come on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Joe, number 12.
But is there,
I
we
think
have to
we're
read them?
going to enter it and then table it. I think it's worth reading it. You agree?
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, let's enter it, let's move it and then table it. We'll explain why. So,
Whereas the village board previously adopted a resolution on May 11, 2015, agreeing to enter into an agreement with Sustainable Westchester and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents with respect to the Community Choice Aggregation Program, the CCA program, in Westchester County, which would allow the village of Pleasantville to participate in a program with Sustainable Westchester to procure electricity from energy service companies for residents of the village. And whereas the resolution authorized the mayor to execute any and all documents to give effect to the resolution, now therefore be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the attached memorandum of understanding in furtherance of the village of Pleasantville's participation in the CCA program, and be it further resolved that the mayor is also authorized to execute an energy services agreement in the form which will be attached to the memorandum of understanding, subject to further revisions by the village attorney, which authorizes Sustainable Westchester to accept bids for the energy service so long as the minimum requirements set forth in the memorandum of understanding and resolution dated May 11, 2015 are satisfied.
is there a second?
I will second.
So, we're gonna move to table this.
I'd like to move to table it to the next
okay.
meeting.
Is there a second for that?
Can I second it if I second the original one?
Sure.
Yeah.
I second the
Good. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I don't know what to do because I'm not voting for it, so.
You can
so
vote to
should I-
table it.
I could vote to table
can
it, it
vote to
wouldn't
table it.
affect,
You
does
can-
it? Yeah, okay,
In
so.
fact, people who are opposed to things sometimes vote to table them endlessly, so.
I'm being very transparent. I mean, I never
That's cute.
had
All right.
any intention.
So all in favor of the motion
Yeah.
to table?
I didn't
Aye.
have a
Aye.
positive.
Aye to
Aye.
table.
Okay, so here's why we're tabling it. And a little background, because I think it's worth reminding everybody who may or may not have followed this to begin with. The Community Choice Aggregation Program is in essence, a joint buying program for energy. It's been organized by Sustainable Westchester, which is a membership organization that includes 40-some-odd municipalities in Westchester County. And Pleasantville is a member of Sustainable Westchester. And as you heard in the resolution, the board previously voted by majority vote to participate in a program called Community Choice Aggregation. What that means is that any resident or small business owner who is currently receiving, buying their energy through Con Edison would be included in the pool of people that Sustainable Westchester uses as a customer base to solicit bids for energy. If the bids for energy come back lower than the 12-month trailing average for the Con Edison rates, that contract will be enacted, and any resident who would be included in that group, which is anybody who currently buys their energy from Con Edison as opposed to an alternative energy supplier, would have 20 days to opt out from the program if they prefer not to participate, or to do nothing if they are willing to participate. So be clear on this, that this is just about the energy portion of your bill. Con Edison can, will, and does deliver the service to your house, the poles and wires, the customer service, all of that is a Con Ed responsibility regardless of who you buy your energy from. This is just a question of where you actually buy the energy, and in many cases people are with the default supplier. So there's lots of information about it if you want to dig into it at the sustainablewestchester.org website. I encourage anybody to take a look there. At the point at which Sustainable Westchester sends out an RFP to energy suppliers and gets it back, assuming they end up with a price that's lower than the Con Ed price, which is what's expected, the program will kick off, and a series of things will happen, including anybody who would be involved in the pool of customers will get a letter reporting all that's going on and giving you the mechanism to opt out if you choose to. I personally think it's a good program and one that offers the potential for significant savings for all of us. And I think it also is an opportunity to unleash the forces of the free market on the energy piece that at the moment has been locked up somewhat accidentally through government regulation of the traditional utility. So lots more information on that to come, but what we're expecting at the moment is that the final documents We'll have gone through the review of something like 18 different village attorneys, that we'll get those final documents later this week. This board will have an opportunity to review them, and that I anticipate that the resolution we just tabled will be back on our agenda for February 8, at which point we'll be in a position to act on it. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Well read.
Okay, so again, if you're interested in digging into this a bit more, sustainablewestchester.org has quite a bit more information on the Community Choice Aggregation Program. More on that next week. 2 weeks, I'm sorry. The last resolution, Steve, is 13.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, January 11th, 2016, and they are hereby approved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Comments, corrections to the minutes? There being no corrections, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. We will be continuing in work session further discussion about several subjects, including the website, recreation fees, the village's participation in the Energize New York program, which is a mechanism that allows people to connect with certified contractors for energy savings. And we will be entering into an executive session to discuss police personnel and matters of real estate. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you all. See you again in 2 weeks, Monday,
Good night.
February 8th, 8 p.m.
Not bad, almost on time.